Hi camera, the little hole on the bottom of you that generally allows you to attach to a tripod and have me comfortable up on my bed has broken. The screw little thing on the inside has become stripped, so you won't stay on this proper tripod I have right here. No, instead I have had to improvise a tripod that looks like this. That is the lid to a jar candle on top of a pile of clean laundry on top of a swiveling desk chair I happen to have in my room. You can really tell I spent 3 years at an engineering magnet school, can't you? That little rant aside, it is still Monday, and that makes it Writing Prompt Monday, the Monday in which I give you a writing prompt, so here's that! For any of you who don't know already, which is probably not many of you because most of my viewers are, after all, my dear friends or my Tumblr mutuals. By the way, Tumblr mutuals, we don't talk enough. We should talk more. I started a new internship today at this cool museum that's focused on the history of Winston-Salem, and I like it a lot. And it's very cool, and I like the people I work for, but I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video in the future. Right now I'm going to talk about what I've taken away from it so far, just from the first day. What I've taken away from it already, which is going to sound unsurprisingly morbid coming from me, is about death. What I've learned is that the moment your heart stops, you don't actually disappear. I mean, yes, you are dead. You can no longer experience the world. However, the things you have put out into the world will be remembered by the people who knew you while you were alive. However, when the people who knew you alive have all died off, say, 100 years later, that's when you go through what I call a second death, because there is no longer a person on the face of the earth that knew you as a living person. You at this point either go immediately to what I'm calling third death, which is being forgotten entirely, or, more interestingly, you become a story. Let me give you an example of this said storification, if you will. Today while I was working in the museum, I came to this set of photographs, lovely photographs that had clearly been passed down from family member to family member for 100 years. They were in great condition, and on the back was written the names of the people in the photograph. 5 times. Because over subsequent generations, they had been trying to figure out who this woman in the photograph was, and they couldn't figure it out. So it would say Louisa, and that would be scratched out with Etta written under it, and scratched out even then, and Louisa again written under that, scratched out again, and with Carrie written under that. Because, despite the fact that this was one of their ancestors, and despite the fact that this person had been quite influential and wealthy, I say that because their photos in a historical archive, they can't be remembered properly. We don't know their name. Because when all the people that knew you when you were alive are gone, you become anonymous. Because you are a concept. You're no longer a part of this earth. Yes, you affected it. Yes, you did things while you were alive, but you're not alive anymore. All of the people that knew you aren't alive anymore, and you are left as just a story. A set of puzzle pieces left to be put together by the people researching you, if you're so lucky to be researched. Okay, now for the actual writing prompt. Take a character. It can be an existent character. It can be one of your OCs. If you want to flatter me off the face of the earth, it can even be a character made specifically for this. I would die. And I want you to take their story and go through and pick out all the little bits where they say, write a letter, or take a photograph, or write a diary entry, or even tweet, because tweets are archived by the Library of Congress. And I want you to make a separate little list of all of those. And these are the puzzle pieces. These are the documents and the artifacts. These are the things that you would find in a historical archive or a museum. And then I want you to put that character aside, and their amazing story aside, and keep the list. And then I want you to make a new character who works in a museum or a historical archive. This is probably going to have to be an OC because I don't think there are that many existent characters that work in museums or archives aside from the Addams Family. Anyway, I want them to be a historian or a researcher or some kind of writer or journalist, and they are writing a biography or a report or an essay or a thesis on the character from the first story. And all they have to put it together, because it has been over 150 years since they died, all they have is the little puzzle pieces. The little things that you would find in a historical archive to put together their story. What would they think, since they can't just ask someone, and they have to find it for themselves? via objects, because, as my favorite Parks and Rec character says, love may be fleeting, but things are forever. Thank you, that is all. That was a creepy smile. I will talk to you Friday. Goodbye.